Why is everything so moist?
What? That spider was so cute. I want a jumping spider
What
too.
spider? There was a spider here?
Yeah, a little one. No, it's gone now. It's gone. What do
Okay.
Where do I?
I'll just put it down or whatever. You can put that in your pocket or whatnot. Okay. Where are we?
Atlanta, Georgia. No, we're not. We're not nowhere close.
We are in the woods. Today's topic is...
Oh, depression. I thought you were gonna... Depression. It's...
Why are we in the woods?
Because obviously there's nice scenery. You guys can tell. There's greenery. It's calm. It's calming. It's nurturing. It's... Why not be in the woods?
Are you not in pain right now from that bee you just got stung by?
You don't have to know about that. No, I'm not in pain actually.
Okay.
I'm living my best life right now.
That's what I love to hear. Because not always are people living their best lives.
Right.
You chose this topic.
Yes, I did.
Why did you choose this topic?
Well, I feel like it's definitely an important topic to talk about because I feel like, especially kind of in the Black community, African community, mental health is sometimes looked down upon, and there's not like enough resources. And as someone who's been depressed herself and gone through that, I feel like it's important to speak up. You know, talk to friends, family members, and just spread information and awareness about it.
I like that a lot. I feel that today mental health is a lot less stigmatized, but there are still a ton of problems.
Right.
A ton of problems with just, talking about it, because not everybody's parents are the same. And in a lot of different households, especially like ethnic, traditional households, mental health isn't super big as on like a dinner table conversation.
Right.
And things have changed a lot, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. I'm someone who has had very long periods of sad. Going back to kind of when I was in middle school, everybody was talking about being depressed. Did you have that common experience too?
Yeah, I did have that.
You did? Yeah. How did you feel about that? Everybody's saying that they're really depressed. It's like the time when XXX and Tassion was taking over.
Right, that was so crazy, because not that I was one of those kids, because I wasn't one of those kids, but I was friends with people who were like, oh, I'm so depressed, and they listen to like emo music and stuff like that.
Lil Peep.
Yeah, no, Lil Peep, 21 Pilots, Fall Out Boy, all of that. And so I felt like at that time, like going through that experience, it's definitely a lot different than just listening to sad music and stuff like that. I feel like it's a lot more than that. It's not just, oh, I'm like sad for today, or I'm listening. It's like almost like, what do I do with my life, and like, why am I here?
Yeah.
What's my purpose? Should I even be here anymore? Like, what's the point of it all?
Do you think it was kind of turned into like a trend at a certain period of time?
Yeah, it was turning into a trend where it's like, oh, I'm depressed, or the music I listen to when I'm depressed. And I was like, so actually it's crazy, because I feel like when it really started was definitely like 10th grade, 11th grade, especially when we went on Zoom that whole year. Sophomore year was just all Zoom. I think that's where it really hit. And at first I was like this is for you. Like this for me. But I feel like I was definitely in denial, because of like I had this preconceived notion that, oh, you had to be like, listening to all this music, be like this certain way to be depressed, and I'm not depressed, and there's no reason I should be depressed because I have like all like family and support, so there's no reason. I just like denied myself and like kind of was in denial that I was actually depressed.
I feel that a lot. Even in recent years, I've really had a hard time just kind of saying the word, because it feels like if I even say the word depressed, it's like, okay, you're someone who just wants to say the word because they want to get attention or something like that.
Right, exactly.
And so I've really tried to distance myself from the word a lot, but I don't think that's really helpful for anybody.
Right.
Like, it's not helpful for me, it's not helpful for anybody else around, because if the word can't even be really openly talked about, I have a feeling that people who do need help and are depressed aren't really going to come forward and try and seek the help they need. And I guess it really manifests itself different for every single person. Because when someone is sad, when someone is depressed, someone can look from the outside in and say that they have like a nice car, they have nice clothes,
Right.
they have a loving family. But within their own head, that's not really how things work, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, you can have like $1 million and still be sad.
Right, exactly.
So it's just getting kind of hard for me to kind of like draw that line between like who is trying to do it for attention and who is actually dealing with the crisis.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't even know if it's even possible. Is it even possible to even say like who is doing which?
I don't think it's definitely hard, but I don't think it's necessarily impossible. From what I've seen, a lot of people that actually do have depression, you really don't know. Like, they won't talk about it often. They'll try to seem happy all the time. So it's kind of, you wouldn't really tell that they have depression. Whereas other people, they might be like saying, oh yeah, I have depression, or I'm depressed all the time, or keep mentioning it a lot. And it's not that they don't have it. It just might be to more like of a lesser degree. Because like, you don't want to like invalidate somebody's claims, but I feel like from what I noticed, people who have like genuine depression, they tend to hide it more because they feel like, one, it's like looked down upon, and then two, they feel like they need to like be stronger and be there for everybody else. So I feel like it's kind of hard to tell, but there are some like little differences.
That makes sense. That makes sense a lot. A lot of times when someone is sad and someone's depressed, other people might say, go outside, have some fun. What do you think about that kind of outside input on someone's situation? Is it helpful? Or is there any benefit to that at all?
I think it's helpful, but it's definitely a temporary solution. Because there would be times where like I'd go out with you guys, or like go out with my siblings and have fun, but like I'd come home and I just still feel, it's like, it's not like it went away. It's like temporary relief almost.
Temporary relief?
So I feel like just saying, oh, go outside, touch some grass, be out more, it's not that helpful, because like, how do I explain it? Like, I guess, because like, my depression manifested when I was like in school, and I'm going out every day, interacting with people that I love to interact with, coming home, interacting with my family, but I'm still depressed. It's not necessarily just, oh, go outside and fix it. You kind of have to look like deeper in and have like deeper conversations with yourself and see, okay, how did this start and why did this happen?
To deal with the root cause of the problem. That makes sense. So, yeah, it will help a little bit, but it won't fix the whole thing.
It'll be like temporary relief, and it might like, I guess if like we were to put levels on it, let's say like 10 is the worst and 1 is like least. If you're like at a level 9 one day and you go out, it can come down to like maybe a level 7 or level 6, but it's not gone.
It's not gone. That's true. So when people do have depressive episodes, I mean, it's very easy to kind of withdraw from society a ton. I know I particularly, when I do get sad, I don't really care about talking to anybody. I don't really care about texting anybody. But that's not really good, is it? Because even though socializing won't fix it, just kind of talking about what you're going through can have an impact on it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think more so than socializing, like actually talking about like it to somebody, because a lot of what I did was like socialize with friends, but I never really opened up to anyone to actually like speak on it or talk about it, or like go back with someone and figure out why I feel this way. It's kind of just something I kept in, and I'm like, okay, I can just push through, get through it, eventually it'll roll over. But that wasn't really the case until like I started like, trying to figure out the root of the problem.
That makes sense. So there's a lot of different things that can influence. There's that personal burden that you might have on you, and there's also things within the real world that can kind of trigger and offset what you might call like a depressive episode or something like that. I know me personally, a lot of my time that I spent in middle school wasn't really good time spent even when I was with friends, which was just leading to me having these social interactions where I was out with people, but I never really felt as if they were really close or that we were developing a deeper connection. And as a result, I was hanging out with these people and I was having experiences with people, but I would come back home and feel worse than when I even had left the house. So that's just kind of my experience with something that could trigger a period of sadness. I mean, because you've had your own experience with things like that within your life.
I definitely can agree with those experiences because that's definitely happened to me before. And on top of that, just being at like a rigorous school and having everyone talk about like their grades and how easy that test was, and then me looking back and being like, okay, well, that wasn't really that easy and I didn't do so well. It kind of put like it's like adding extra pressure onto myself, and it just made things worse because like I would come home and feel bad, and then I'd feel even worse for feeling bad, if that makes sense. Because like my parents would come and be like, "Oh, how's your day?" Like my parents are very loving. They'll be like, "Talk to us about anything and everything, good, bad, ugly. Just come talk to us about it." And I wasn't doing that, and so that made me feel even worse because I'm like, why am I feeling so bad when I know there's some people out there who don't even have anyone to talk to? So it just kind of like kept spiraling and spiraling and spiraling.
I see that. And you brought up a good thing at the very end that I also want to talk about. The idea of like comparing your situation to other people's situations too.
Yeah.
I heard this saying one time, and it's kind of stuck with me. It's that you should never look into someone else's cup unless you're making sure that they have enough. I think that it's really easy to go out and see everybody else who has more, because that's kind of what gets likes. That's what gets the views. I mean, somebody going through something is not gonna get a million likes or something like that. But the truth is, people do go through things, and it could be like the friend you're sitting across from that just had a really terrible night, and you'd never know because there's never any kind of a conversation about that. And that conversation never usually takes place because it's kind of an uncomfortable conversation to have with some people. I mean, who are you going to go to and say like, "Hey man, I was definitely really sad last night." And I think there's a bigger stigma within the male community than within the woman community as well.
No, I definitely agree with that because I feel like once I finally came like and told my parents about it, I was like crying and doing a bunch, but they were like very comforting. But I feel like other people, like my cousin, he went through a depressive state, and not that like not as open, but I just know it was a bit harder for him, not because like his parents weren't like open or anything like that. It's just more like being a man, you're always like expected to be strong, not show your emotions as much. And so I definitely do agree that it is a bit harder for men versus women to come out and talk about that.
Yeah, there is a really big social stigma around men being like really tough and gritty and masculine. And a lot of progress has been made over in recent years, but as just like a society as a whole, it's kind of hard to change things that have been kind of just really ingrained in there.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I don't really think that people should be looked down upon for talking about their feelings. Now, I think that there's different levels. There's a right way and I think a wrong way to go about trying to talk about what you're going through and reach out to people. I mean, if you're going through a major crisis, hopefully it doesn't even get to that point, but probably a random person on the street is not going to be who you want to go to ever.
Exactly.
But even in the days like that would lead up to that kind of a crisis, it's important to know who you can reach out to.
Exactly.
I feel like there's like a lack of really close connections in some aspects of the world today.
Yeah.
And I think that's important that people find those areas of close connection they can have with their friends to make sure that when they do get down, they have a support system. Because I don't think is it even possible for someone to go through life and never be sad at all and never have any type of.
Definitely not.
I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. So I think that men, women, and men as well need to make sure that they're getting those bonds that they can talk to people about these things with. Because I mean, just as a guy, I feel a lot more comfortable talking about something that I'm going through with a woman than a guy. And I think that has to do with the social stigma around it. But guys go through this thing too, so it's kind of unfair if I don't also talk to my guys about like their mental health and stuff like that. So I think that's just kind of like the first step that a lot of people like need to kind of teach. Like ask your bro. I mean, ask your guy friends, ask your girlfriends.
Ask your bros, because actually the funny thing is that it was a bit opposite for me. The people I talked to were all my like guy friends about it.
That's
I mean, like, I mainly talked to my guy friends, and actually I don't think many of my female friends knew. it was mainly my guy friends because they would always give a response of like trying to fix it, and I really kind of appreciated that because they would give me like, because you know there's like that whole thing of, oh, guys are always trying to like fix stuff and then women will just listen, and I appreciate both sides, but I think at the time the like depression I was feeling and going through, I needed like solutions like other than like coming from myself, you know. So I feel like that really helped because they would suggest, okay, clear your mind, you know, go take walks, go work out, and like I felt like those were very helpful.
I like that a lot. So making sure that you have a really diverse support circle,
a diverse
like
group,
filled
definitely.
with as many different viewpoints as you can. And if someone's going out there like trying to make connection, like what do they even do? Like, let's say that they've been inside for like the last year, and now they're trying to look for actual genuine connection with someone. Like what do they even do to start that process? I mean, they're going through something.
Yeah, that's definitely a good question. I feel like coming back from sophomore year, I definitely lost a lot of connections because I completely isolated myself. I wasn't contacting many people. It was just wake up, do work, and go to sleep. I feel like one thing is to, you know, try to find common similarities. Actually, the way I met Bolu, that's so embarrassing. Okay, so we were coming in to the school, and I saw her there, and during our Zooms and stuff like that, that whole year, Miss Milstead and Miss Sharp, they had like a little lunch bunch thing where you could come and join the Zoom and eat lunch together and talk about topics. And I saw Bolu there a couple of times. So when I was passing like by the main level lecture hall, because I think it was either coming in junior year or to take a test, AP exam, like in person, I saw her there and I like waved to her and we talked a bit. And so I feel like just finding a common interest and not being afraid to go out there, because I'm sure everyone has like amazing qualities, and there's gonna be people there that like appreciate your qualities and appreciate what you have to say. So just don't be nervous, don't be afraid. You know, everybody kind of fumbles sometimes, so I think just be yourself.
Yeah, getting over that initial hurdle of even talking to somebody new is kind of like the biggest part. But
Right.
I've really not met a ton of people who I've tried to come up with a conversation with who's been like, no.
Right, exactly.
Get away from me.
No, exactly.
But that's kind of how it might feel in the moment. If you go on to somebody new and you want to make a friendship, you're like, oh my God, this person's gonna hate me. What if I talk too fast? What if I talk too slow? What if I stutter or something like that? But I mean, everyone can use connection.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone can use connection. So I think that's an avenue that people should try and pursue if they have not, and make like a conscious effort to foster deep connections. Like go out and say, let's go to the movies, something like that. Let's go roaming in the forest.
Right, no, roaming in the forest definitely over movies for sure.
Roaming in the forest over movies.
Roaming in the forest over movies.
That's a hot take. That's a controversial take.
I think it's a controversial
I think
take.
it is.
I think it's an amazing take.
There are bugs in the forest.
There are bugs everywhere. There are bugs in the
no
movie.
bugs in the movies.
There were bugs around the movies.
Were there bugs in your popcorn?
No, there weren't bugs.
See, exactly.
But you know, you get to listen to the birds.
And you get to be bitten by ants.
Whenever are you gonna be bitten by ants again?
I prefer not to be bitten by ants in the first place.
You're just not a nature guy. You're just lame. That's what lame people say.
Hopefully that little bout of humor sparked a little bit of joy within this. Depression's a really heavy subject.
Yeah,
it really is a very heavy
it
subject.
is a
You have to
heavy
be in the right
subject.
mental space to talk about it,
Right.
because it's not a day-to-day conversation.
No, definitely not.
I would say that it's definitely a conversation people need to have, but at the right moments. So that's why it's really important that you understand that you're not alone throughout this
Right.
entire thing.
Don't be afraid to reach out to friends, family, obviously trusted people, but don't be afraid to reach out and really talk about your feelings, because it does help. It helped me a lot because I was able to get a schedule for myself and kind of really build up to where I am today, and I'm definitely a lot happier than I was before. So just reach out to friends, family, even if you feel like you don't have those people, try to make that connection. You can reach out to therapists or anything like that, but it's definitely important to talk about it and not just keep it all in, because if you keep it up bottled up, there's one day where it's just going to explode, and it's not going to be great at all.
Never. I never have an outro for these videos.
You don't have an outro?
No. Do you have an outro?
I don't have an outro.
That's
I don't
why do I have an outro?
Because you filmed these. This is your thing. You should
These
have an
are
outro.
some expectations that are unfounded. and
Unfounded.
very extreme.
Very extreme is
Who
crazy.
do I look like, PewDiePie?
No.
Do I look like Mr. Beast to you?
No, but you should have an outro if you're a YouTuber. I don't know. Be like, bye guys or something, or have a
Bye guys.
Not like that.
All right, you do it then.
I don't know what to do.
Do
Bye guys.
Bye.
We did not just end the video like that. That's crazy.
That's a beautiful video ender. Oh my god, my butt is sore. Oh!
Damn.
Is it dirty?
No, you're fine.
You sure?
I think so. Hold on. I don't have dirt.
How are you
I'm
checking?
with butt.
You can't even check yourself.